Turkey sits in one of the most valuable locations on Earth. It borders Europe, touches the Middle East, watches Russia, and controls the gateway between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean. And because of that, almost everyone needs Turkey. NATO needs it. Russia watches it. Europe depends on it. And the Middle East can't ignore it. Turkey isn't just another country. It's a pressure point of the modern world. To understand why Turkey matters so much, start with the map. Turkey sits directly between Europe and Asia. For thousands of years, armies, traders, and empires fought over land like this because whoever controls crossroads controls movement. And Turkey controls one of the most important crossroads anywhere, the Bosporus Strait. This narrow waterway cuts through Istanbul and links the Black Sea to the wider oceans. That means countries like Russia, Ukraine, Romania, and Bulgaria rely on access through Turkish-controlled waters. If you are a Black Sea power, Turkey matters immediately. That alone gives Ankara leverage few countries have. But Turkey's importance doesn't stop at geography. It also has one of the strongest militaries in NATO. Only a handful of alliance members can field large forces at scale, and Turkey is one of them. Its army is massive, experienced, and positioned near some of the world's most unstable regions. That makes Turkey valuable to the West, even when relations get tense. And tense is the key word. Turkey is a NATO member, but it often acts independently. It buys weapons some allies dislike. It clashes with fellow NATO states. It negotiates with Russia while supporting Ukraine in different ways. It balances East and West constantly. That frustrates many countries, but it also proves Turkey's power. Weak states follow orders. Strategic states create options. Turkey has options. Then, there's migration. Turkey sits on the route between conflict zones in Europe. Millions of refugees have passed through or stayed inside Turkey. That means Ankara can influence one of Europe's most politically explosive issues, migration pressure. When Turkey speaks on this issue, Europe listens. Energy is another reason Turkey matters. Pipelines crossing its territory can move oil and gas from Central Asia, the Caucasus, and the Middle East toward Europe. In an age where energy security shapes foreign policy, transit countries become valuable. Turkey is one of them. Then there's defense industry growth. Turkey has expanded domestic weapons production, especially drones. Those drones gained global attention after conflicts where they proved effective and cheaper than many expected. Now Turkey is not just buying weapons, it is selling influence. And that changes status. Countries that produce defense technology gain diplomatic weight. Turkey understands that. Even culturally and historically, Turkey carries influence beyond its borders. It was the center of the Ottoman Empire for centuries. Its language, trade links, religion, and media still echo across multiple regions. Modern Turkey may be a republic, but its reach extends far wider than its borders. So, why does Turkey matter more than people think? Because it controls choke points, fields a major military, influences migration, moves energy, builds weapons, and sits where continents collide. Very few countries can pressure Europe, affect Russia, shape the Middle East, and matter to NATO all at once. Turkey can, and that's why no serious power can afford to ignore it.